What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is episode number 833. See, I was kind of looking up in the sky, trying to remember what it was. Anyway, it's a shitload of episodes. 13 years, rocking and rolling right here on the Monday, December 1st. And it is 1 month away from an end of another year. And I don't know why, but that fucking hit me this morning as I was laying in bed, and it was a heavy weight. Just, just the thought of another year gone by. We're about to hit 2026. I'm about to be 60, and I was just laying there going like, "Fuck, fuck." It's weird. Sometimes you go through I don't know if you do this, but I do it, where you go, periods of your life, you're like, "Yeah, fuck, I'm not afraid of death." And then other times you're like, oh my God, it's scary. And I think when you're feeling good and enjoying life and doing what you love, that's when it's scary because you're going, shit, man. I think about all kinds of things. And then I think about the incredible life that I have lived so far. And I'm like, well, I've pretty much been doing it, uh, rocking and rolling. So anyway, heavy day, December 1st. Welcome to the show. I didn't mean to start it off like that after a long weekend. Just throw that fucking at you. Hey, here's some gloom. But it's fucking nuts. Anyway, beautiful weather out here in Los Angeles, California. And thanks for joining the show. Before I get way into it, I do want to thank a lot of the new Patreoners today. It is an incredible show of support of the podcast, and it just blows my mind. And I love you guys. Thank you. Here it is. Susie Walton joined. Thank you so much. Lace or Lassie Laceman, thank you for joining. Robert Passeri Jr., Ron Z, Greg Murch, Don Riddick, Phil, Dodger Phil. Yes, I know the man well there. Greg Murch, I said him twice. I think I even said him last week like an idiot. Philip Ellis, Nick Balkin, and Kevin Gibo. Welcome to the Patreon, patreon.com/Dean Delray. If you are a longtime listener of this podcast, you realize that I have not had any advertisements in a long time. So by joining the Patreon and supporting that and this podcast, it really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. Also, before we get into it, some great tour dates coming up. Tour dates right here, Fox Theater this Friday with the great Bill Burr. That's going to be insane. Beautiful theater. First theater I ever did way, way, way back in my career. December 18th, Cerritos Center, which is incredible in Cerritos, California. I looked at it. It looks like a place where they do the Kennedy honors. This venue is gorgeous. January 16th, I have finally been asked to be part of SF Sketchfest, so I will be doing a show there, a one-nighter for the Sketchfest. I'm fired up for that. And then the Blue Room Comedy Club, Springfield, Missouri, going back there. Las Vegas, I'll be there twice in February at the Brad Garrett Comedy Club and the Comedy Cellar. So a couple times there. And then this just in January 8th, Seattle with Bill Burr. So that's going to be, I love going up there in the winter, doing comedy, making people laugh in the gloomy Seattle grunge weather. Anyway, a lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff. So take it all in, deandelray.com. And once again, I want to say thank you for supporting the podcast. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Mine fell on the exact date of my 13th anniversary of being a paid regular at the Comedy Store. A lot of people say, what does that mean? First of all, it means the world to me. It was probably one of the greatest achievements I've ever had as a performer, music or comedy. Becoming a paid regular is like being a made man, made woman, made human at the store. You cannot perform in the Comedy Store unless you are a paid regular or the open mic potluck, which is on Sundays and Mondays, or if there's some outside producer that's renting one of the rooms. So, really, the holy grail of the Comedy Store is becoming a paid regular. And all the way back to Mitzi Shore's original vision is she would watch comedians and slowly watch them either develop or not develop, you know. And on Sundays and Mondays, the potlucks, she would come in and watch their sets. And as they started to get better and she thought that they were a fit for the Comedy Store, she would pass them. And that meant you could call in every Monday and say, here's what days I could work this week. And it meant you got paid finally to do comedy. And it also meant that your name would be painted on the wall at the Comedy Store. If you have ever been to the Comedy Store and wonder what's going on with all those names, that is basically the history of the Comedy Store painted on the building, which is just incredible. You look at that and you think about at the time I was passed, which is 13 years ago, it was really rare when people got passed. It'd be a couple years. Mitzi had retired from the process. A guy named Tommy took over, and he would watch people in the same kind of way nightly. He worked in the box office and would kind of see what people were doing. And at the time that I was passed, there was only about, I think, under 400 or right around 400 people in the history of the club. And then, like I said, they would go years without even passing a comedian. Like it wasn't, guaranteed, okay, new year, let's pass some people. That's not how it worked. It's a different game now. But back then, if they didn't think people were ready, they didn't pass anybody. And the club was so broke for a long time that they didn't even have money to pay a painter to paint the names on when they did get passed. So there was like a slew of names that weren't up on the wall yet because they didn't have the money to pay the guy to do it. It was the same guy that always painted the names. And then I believe, from what I've been told, Kurt Fox got passed and he said, look, I'll pay the fucking guy. I want my name up on the wall. It's a huge achievement and an honor to be a paid regular. I'll pay for all the names to be painted up that are in the back catalog. And from what I heard, that's what happened. But by the time I was passed, there was only, I think, 4 or 5 names. So they paid the guy and he came down. I met him and watched him fucking paint my name up on the wall. I went on purpose because I knew he would spell it wrong, Delrey, even though I said 20 times it's Ray. So I went down and as I was watching him, he did the fucking E and I was like, ah. And luckily I was there. He had some paint thinner and removed it and started over. And as luck would have it, and a lot of my career has been beautified by the planets of aligning. By the time they were painting my class's names on the walls, it had gone to the front of the Comedy Store lower wall. So I got this primo top spot. And I remember Paulie was down there. He's all, bro, why'd you get the best spot, bro? Bro, you look at you. Anyway, so 13 years as a paid regular, and this last year, really, I owe most of my knowledge to two things. One, Bill Burr, by touring with him and watching a master do comedy. And two, the Comedy Store for letting me develop all this material that eventually became 5836, my special, and also what's about to become my new special from working in the store. Now, there has been some insane ups and downs in that club over the years, and I have fought tooth and nail to be part of it by doing thousands of spots and grinding and writing and sticking to it, not tapping out, not quitting. So every time I pull up and I see my name on the wall or my name on the marquee, it never gets old. That's why I post it on my Instagram a lot of times because to me, it's mind-boggling to think that, I'm coming up on my 17th year. December 6th, 2009, I walked on that Comedy Store patio, did an open mic, and here I am today, 13-year paid regular, a special out, and name on the marquee two, three times a week. Thousands and thousands and thousands of cars travel down Sunset daily, and seeing my name up there at 59 years old is just a fucking honor. So thank you, Comedy Store. And thank you to everybody who's ever come out to see me live and laughed because I would say 90% of the material was created and worked on in that club. All right, getting into some music talk today. I've been, spinning through the Instagram lately, like every 5 minutes, and a clip of Sade came up. Now, I cannot even tell you what Sade means to me. I mean, I'm going to try to, um, you know, get it out there on what this woman means to me. First of all, I remember when she first came out, 1984. I had a real serious girlfriend at that time, my first real, full on love. And she was definitely, way out of my league as far as class and smart and elegant. She was very smart, this girl, and we were complete opposites, which made it really kind of work pretty damn good. But I learned a lot from this woman, and one of them was I remember she would drink Evian water, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, fuck, what are you buying water for? Let's get Coke, Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper." She'd be over there drinking Evian. This is like 1984. Who the fuck's drinking bottled water back then? But this girlfriend of mine drank bottled water, and she also listened to Sade, which at the time it was like, is it Sadie? Is it Sade? Is it Sade? Sade. Everybody said it different. There wasn't a YouTube or anything, to hear how you pronounced it. You just go, hey, you listening to Sade? But she bought this record and she brought it home and she would put it on in her car. She had a Mazda, I believe, at the time. At first, she had a Toyota Celica, but she bought this record, Diamond Life. And she would play it in the house, mostly when I wasn't around. Um, and I started hearing Smooth Operator, Your Love is King. And I was like, man, what is that? That shit is fucking good. And we're talking about 84. So 84, Dean Delray was full on. Let me just tell you what was powering through the house at the time. Merciful fate, don't break the oath. Okay. The opposite sides of the spectrum, so fucking fierce. You had Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. You had, of course, the masterpiece Ride the Lightning, Iron Maiden, Power Slave. That is going on in my fucking car. Rat Out of the Cellar and Dio Last in Line. These are some of the records, Wasp, the first Wasp, that are spinning. But at the same time, I'm deep into, of course, Sade, Prince, Terrence Trent D'Arby, like amazing soul. And I was looking up the how they kind of categorize her, which would be Quiet Storm. Next up is Sade, Diamond Life, Smooth Operator. Right here on 89.5 Quiet Jazz. One of those jazz channels. They had one in San Francisco. It was just always the DJ was just the whisperer. Quiet Soul Rock, 105.25, Smooth Jazz. Soul, Quiet Storm, Smooth Jazz, whatever you want to call it. Diamond Life came out and just fucking dominated. All right. Quadruple platinum record all over. Now, as I would watch her, I quickly realized she was not only an amazing songwriter, but absolutely beautiful and elegant. And I would mix that love of that record in with my girlfriend. Like to me, they were kind of the same people. Like, wow, these people just float on a different frequency, And it's really amazing to think about. If you watch Sade, you can't even fucking believe uh one person keeps posting clips this week. Now I'm in the algorithm of it. And they were like pre auto tune, pre everything. But I'm going to be as bold as to say, now look, I know we got Aretha Franklin, Aretha Franklin. We got Tina Turner. We have, Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield. All of this stuff is why we have Sade. But I would say that the impact of her on me and her music is just monumental. It's a game changer with me. Terrence Trent D'Arby, dreamed to interview him and one of the greatest of all time. But the consistency of Sade and her records, the five records, the holy grail of these records, and each one to me getting better and better. I would say she, for me, is the greatest female, and I don't even like to say greatest female, but I'm going to say that because I've never seen anyone, and I've seen Tina Turner live, but I've never seen anyone with that amount of hits, over Madonna, over all these, Adele, everything. This woman, her mystique, her songwriting, her voice, her live shows, her live voice, her movements on stage, everything about this woman is almost not real, especially the Mystique era. Now, this woman has absolutely disappeared. They dropped a couple tunes in 2018. They're rumored to work on a new record, and which, by the way, Sade, when they first came out, was a band. They called it her name, but it was an actual band, eventually splitting off her. I'm sure having some kind of, you know, the band going like, it's all about you. What about us? Which, when you do watch that band early on, holy shit, I mean, some more people influence Maxwell, D'Angelo, all these people. When you look at those players, it's unreal how the sound landscape that they put down for her to sing on and the eerie, just angelic floating. It's like the music is like fucking floating out of your speakers, man. You put it on. Now, some of you are going like, I don't like this shit at all. That is such a bummer for you because I don't even know, you know, this lady triggers fierce love in my bones when I listen to the music. It's just, oh shit. And like I said, she has disappeared. I've heard different things over the years. Now, I had the honor to see this woman live. Let me get the year here. In 19, here it is. It's funny because it's 1992. I see her at the Concord Pavilion, okay, on the Love Deluxe record, which is probably pretty much the holy grail for me. And also Chino Marino from Deftones. He recently came out and said that he loves this record, and they covered No Ordinary Love, which I watched this morning and was blown away by his cover. So I had the honor to see her in 1992 at the Concord Pavilion. And she comes out. She has a giant screen behind her. She's way ahead of the time. She's got badass visuals, like early Spheres kind of shit, where each song had a thematic film. Like one, she's just riding a horse, and she had a background singer that would double or harmonize with her. And the band was up there, and she came out, and for 2 hours, I was fucking floored. And I really have never forgotten it. Out of all the concerts I've seen, there's like 20 that I think about and just go like, oh my God, you know. Um, it was absolutely one of the greatest vocal performances I've ever seen. It's just the smoothness. She is the definition of smooth jazz. Really wild, man. Really wild. So there's a clip of her playing Live Aid, which, by the way, she's the only person from Africa that played Live Aid. Um, so there's a clip of her at Live Aid, and it is unreal. Anyway, I've been way deep all week. That's been my Thanksgiving week, just soundtrack around the house. Just beautiful. Sade, Sadie, Sade, Sade, Sade. At one point, she got signed when she split from the band, and the record company in the UK put pronounced Sade. Oh my God. That's it, I think that the funniest thing would have been if on the first record ever, track one would come on and go, it's pronounced Sade, and then go right into the record. Then forever, no one would ever fuck up her name. Anyway, there's rumors been working on new music. I don't even know if anybody's gotten a photo of her in the last 5 years. I don't know where she lives. I kind of dug around a little bit. Let me see here. Um, the amount of records she sold is fucking unreal. 75 million albums. Take that in, okay? 75 million albums nominated for the Rock Hall. Nominated, not in. And 24 nominated. What the fuck are you thinking, Rock Hall? God, 75 million. I want to give a shout out to the band members because they had a side band after she split from them called Sweetback, which I listened to that record. They had two records out, but when it came out, I dug way into that also. Two studio albums, Sweetback, 1996, Stage 2, 2004. And I want to give a shout out to those players because they are unreal. Stuart Matthewman, Paul Denman, and Andrew Hale. Um, and then they never really had a drummer. They just kind of hired drummers that played on the tours, according to the um, Wikipedia. Anyway, this is the run. 84 Diamond Life, 85 Promise, 88 Stronger Than Pride, 92 Love Deluxe, 2000 Lovers Rock, and then 2010 she did Soldier of Love, which I don't think I've heard. So I'm going to dive into that today. Here's the tour I saw. Actually, I'm looking at it. So Love Deluxe was the tour I saw. And it says it was in 93. So the record came out obviously in late 92, and then they toured in 93. Let me see if I can find the set.
Hey everyone, this is the 10 pack of.
That was my YouTube firing up. Let's see. Sade set list. God, I love the set list. 2000, oh wait, 1993. Here we go. Let's check it out. God, they got a weird photo of her. I wouldn't even think it was her. I saw her. I love set lists because you can just look up, your brain's fried from drugs, or maybe your brain's fried just from living a life here. Okay, let's see here. Shoreline. I gotta find the show I saw. This Greek theater. She played Greek theater 3 fucking nights on that tour. Let's see. Sorry, hang with me for a minute. Let me see if I can. Here it is, Concord Pavilion. God, she did the Shoreline that tour also. July 27th, 1993 is when I saw her. Pretty fucking cool to be able to see that, you know? I just want to see how many songs she played and all of that stuff. Let's see here. No fucking set list. It's all the dates are here, but there's no set list. What kind of jive turkey shit is that? Damn. Sorry, people. I know you were hanging on a fucking thread. Yeah, carry on the Sade conversation, man. Keep going. Fuck, man. It's weird the set list isn't here. Anyway, what a bummer. Oh wait, here we go. I got one from the tour. Sweetest Taboo. Okay, so she played 20 songs live, and the show average length was 2 hours. And man, it's just hit after hit. Sweetest Taboo. Keep looking. Your Love is King. Love is Stronger Than Pride. Smooth Operator. This is just like a tattoo. Kiss of Life. Oh man, this is just, God, I'm getting goosebumps. Anyway, yeah, Dean Delray loves him some smooth jazz. Smooth jazz. Hey, hey, everybody out there, keep it cool. It's Friday. Smooth jazz. All right, let's jump into some other stuff. I got some fucking metal for you since you want to clean the palate. Ooh, ooh, he talks so much about jazz. I don't believe you guys are saying that. I believe if you listen to this podcast, you fucking you have a good music taste and you can take the ride on anywhere. I truly believe that. Something I never fucking knew. And I want to, first of all, erase people ruin sayings, these catchphrases happen, and then people jump on, and then they just fucking say it over and over and over. And this one was kind of old. It was like 5 years ago, but now it seems to be everywhere. It's like, Justin Bieber headline at Coachella. I didn't have that on my bingo card. Oh, fuck. I didn't have that on my bingo card. You know, anyway, bingo card. Oh man, it's cool to hear it like once and then I'll say you just hear it over and over or see it. But what I didn't have on my bingo card was, and I watched the Black Sabbath documentaries. I've been a Black Sabbath fan for years and years and years and years. I thought I knew everything about Black Sabbath. I thought I knew the different singers, but had no idea that for a minute when Ozzy quit, Ozzy quit, then he came back, and then he quits again in 80. But when Ozzy quit in 78, I had no idea because they had those History of Black Sabbath Volume 1 and 2 documentaries, those DVDs back in the day, and it kind of covers Ian Gillan, the Tony dude from the Headless Cross, the Ozzy, the Dio, that stuff. Um, but in 78, Ozzy quits and they kind of get a singer and they go on the BBC. Never seen this until 2 days ago. It starts floating around the internet and you're going, what the fuck is this? And it's this dude from Savoy Brown who was also in Fleetwood Mac. All right. His name is Dave Walker. And they're on BBC Live. I guess this is the only recorded footage ever of this guy. He's in the band for a few minutes. And they're doing a version of Junior's Eyes. It's not called that, but it's the song, the riff from Junior's Eyes, but it's different melody and lyrics and everything. And it's this dude. And I mean, holy shit, this is so weird to see because you're looking at Black Sabbath with this kind of, I'm not saying he's a bad singer, but I am saying that he's pretty generic and blah in Sabbath, knowing how much I love the Dio era and then also the Ozzy era, how electric that is when you see, and also Ray Gillan. It is, that Born Again record is way up there for me, way up there. And I saw the tour, but had no idea this ever even happened. And when you watch it, it's kind of like this generic sounding kind of free, Bad Company free type of band. And the guy's got kind of that 78 haircut, like Ziggy, the kind of semi mullet, kind of cropped up. He's got that haircut. He's playing tambourine a little bit. He starts with harmonica and he's really kind of boring. He's just up there like, I see you out there on the mountain. There's no demon, evil, dark stuff or anything. It's more kind of just almost fever dog, um, you know, that kind of just generic 70s rock sounding, which is so wild. I'll post it up on my Instagram and I'll put it on the Patreon. But really wild to see this piece of history of Black Sabbath. And it's like a couple months and then they're like, nah, Ozzy's back, and then, they write Junior's Eyes, which seems to be having a complete new era of glory since the Back to the Beginning concert. People are really spinning the shit at Junior's Eyes on Ozzy's Boneyard and just around I'm out and about here in Junior's Eyes, which is cool. What a cool fucking song off the Never Say Die record, which is a great record, underrated record, technical ecstasy, great, bizarre, took a chance, tried something different. But man, would Black Sabbath be fucking done if they went with this dude? I mean, Tony Martin era Headless Cross, not very many people even I listened to it once in my lifetime. I was like, that's not for me. When you have Mob Rules and fucking Heaven and Hell, and then you get this Headless Cross record, it really wasn't for me at all. But this era, I mean, Sabbath, it's wild to think they get Dio and they crush it, and just 2 years later, and Ozzy puts out his solo records and crushed it. But if they went with this dude and went into the studio and made a record, we may have never heard of Sabbath again, because those Dio records carried them through to another huge era of success in, the 80s. That catapulted them into some arenas again, and really dominating. So it's wild to see this footage. It's so crazy. They're like, okay, we got a singer and we don't want to look like we're done. Everybody knows Ozzy quit. Let's go on the BBC. We're going to play this brand new song. They played this brand new song. It's Junior's Eyes, but it's called something else. And then it just kind of disappears. You never hear about it again, which is really fucking wild. And then I was thinking about, okay, this guy was at Fleetwood Mac for a while. Between Sabbath and, Fleetwood Mac and even like Maiden, these bands have had AC/DC, they've had tons of members and have not really affected them, which is wild. Anyway, I will post that up. It is Dave Walker, 1978 BBC footage. Really, really cool to see that, man. I love the internet. Like every couple years, something comes around and you're like, what? And you think you know everything about music. You think you know the history of something, and you're like, I never even heard of this fucking guy. Um, And I may be wrong, but I'm going to go back and watch that Black Sabbath Volume 1 and 2 DVD history, which is great when they get to Ray Gillan and he's just describing the spinal tap of the Stonehenge being way too fucking big to sit in arenas. I may be wrong, but I do not remember at all this guy being in those documentaries. So I'm gonna try to go back and watch that stuff. And I don't know, maybe it was in there. I don't know. Let me know. Speaking of let me know, Gertie is here, and I've been really I've had an opportunity to um, adopt Gertie's granddaughter. And it is not a decision I am taking lightly. I went out and met the dog yesterday, and she is absolutely a twin of Gertie. It's almost hilarious. And she is 3. Gertie is now 9.5. And Gertie is hands down the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, that's ever come into my life. And she is completely, I mean, I love this animal beyond. And I fight back many, 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 many thoughts once in a while of like, what if she wasn't here? It's always like immediately gut wrenching and brutal. Butch Walker, friend of mine, lost his French Bulldog a few days ago. And people post these dogs passing away videos. And oh my God, they just fucking, they crush me. Now, Gertie is completely healthy and lives an incredible life. She's 9.5. French Bulldogs, people are always like, well, what is their lifespan? And it's like, well, why bring that up? Also, that'd be like asking a human, what are the humans' lifespan? It's like, well, are we talking pre chemicals in the food or, chemicals in the food, whatever. My point is, I'm thinking about maybe getting a second dog for Gertie to, they say that it really gives him kind of this purpose in life of like, all right, I'm going to show her the ropes and, double the love. People are like, well, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's worth it though. I mean, I'm not getting a wild animal. I'm getting another chill French bulldog that is related to Gertie and looks just like her. So I'm really weighing in on it today and making sure it's the right choice. I want nothing but the best for Gertie, but I also look at this animal and go, well, I've given Gertie a lot of love, and I could bring this dog in also, and we could have a little, extra love in the house. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you have two dogs? Was it too much? Hit me on the Instagram or whatever, the Patreon, and let me know your thoughts. I saw the dog yesterday and I love the dog and it's so crazy. It looks like if somebody cloned Gertie. Like just people out there cloning their dogs, I think. I think like Martha Stewart or someone. Anyway, I'm turning into my mom. You cannot fucking fight it. It is real. You turn into one of your parents. Hopefully, it's the good one. If you had a good one. But my mom, she just always had two dogs. And then she ran a pug rescue right up to when she passed. That was just brutal. Just, you know, she just loved pugs and French bulldogs, and she loved to, supply them with a nice home and find families and stuff for these dogs. And so I mean, I'm turning into my mom. I mean, dual dogs, you know. So yeah, Gertrude may have the granddaughter here at the crib. I'm looking. Gertie, Gertie is completely under the blankets this morning. She ate breakfast. We went for a long walk. She came back and she is just under the blankets, man. What a life. I want to give a shout out to, I was wearing a new leather jacket recently. I didn't really think I was in a leather jacket mode in this part of my life. I don't really ride anymore, but leather jackets are 100%, one of my top loves of all time, and just a thrill to find the best leather jackets, and for years on the hunt, and then of course finding this company, Real McCoy's, and wearing Real McCoy's leather jackets, and then Shot kind of getting into the game of going back into their history and re-releasing the beautiful one-star motorcycle jacket worn by Springsteen and Marlon Brando. And the leather jacket game really just kind of uh, popped up a serious amount of notches over the last 10 years with people like Y2, Shot, and Real McCoy's. These guys are making some of the best jackets. So I went over to Mr. Freedom to look at a car coat because I am now, I'm talking about leather jackets in the motorcycle cut, the classic motorcycle cut. But now I'm kind of into this car coat era. I mean, I was always into it, but I'm short, so it's hard to find a good car coat because if they're too long, you just look like you got nubs coming out from underneath the leather coat. Because a car coat is not a trench coat. It's cut shorter than that, but still they cut them around 30 length. And if it's 30 length, I look like just fucking, I forget that guy's name, but he did that amazing old video. Wow, God, what was it? Tim, I forget his name. Classic old school comedy. Anyway, you look like you just got a couple nubs coming out with this if the jacket's too long and you're short. That is my tip for you. If you are 5'7" or 5'6", 5'5", right around in there, and you try to wear a jacket that's longer than 27, you're gonna look like an idiot. I always loved the car coat ever since Drugstore Cowboy. That was it for me. I wanted a car coat. Couldn't find one that was shorter. I could get it modified, but back then there's just wasn't good leather people around. Now I could easily find a jacket, bring it in, and they would modify it. People I would trust. But then Lane Staley got red hot and he was wearing a car coat, and it was kind of the combination of Drugstore Cowboy, Lane Staley, Alice in Chains. And I was like, I want a car coat. So I went over to Mr. Freedom's, which is a guy named Christian who's been making some of the greatest clothes in America over the last, I don't know, 15 years or so. He's on Beverly next door to the New Beverly Theater, which is Tarantino's theater. It's a red building painted red. Over the years, I've bought 3 items from him, and I went in there a couple days ago to look at this car coat he had, and of course it was 30 length, so it didn't work. But then I looked over to the left, and he had this kind of classic motorcycle, the small collar with the snap, but with a D pocket, which is unusual. Usually a J100 type of motorcycle leather just has 2 zippers across here and the snap collar, and that's it. There's 2 types of motorcycle leathers. You got the classic, double-breasted like Marlon Brando Springsteen biker jacket, and then you have this other biker jacket, which would be called a cafe jacket with the cascade collar. So I go over and I see it, and he has done something that nobody's really done, a cafe jacket, but with a D pocket. And I put it on, and it's like an aged, weathered, tan, brown color. And I put it on, I go, oh yeah, I gotta have this. And I need a leather jacket like I need a fucking hole in the head. But I got this new rule now, 3 out, 1 in. So sell 3 things, you can bring 1 in. And as I slowly go minimalist, I think, okay, well, this could be my one leather jacket. I'm really at an age now where I could go 1 watch. I've kind of whittled it down to what that would be. I could go 1 leather jacket. I could go 1 pair of denim now. I know the cut now that I'm off the fucking skinny bowling pin look. I could go this 1 pair of jeans. And I wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Freedom, the shop. You can follow them on Instagram. Because as I was in there, I was like, this guy has quietly been killing it with made in America and some made in Japan. He does collabs with sugarcane and stuff. He's quietly been crushing it with one of the greatest stores in America, Mr. Freedom. And I watched a little documentary on him on his website that somebody shot. I think it's like 12 minutes. And I just really enjoy this guy's fucking story. Hopefully, I can get him on the podcast. I've been trying now for a little bit, but I'm going to try a lot harder. And I just love what he does. Now, it's classic Americana, American clothing, somewhere between military and cowboy. He likes both flavors, and I do too. It's like a double RL, but even more authentic. Double RL is great, but it's just too big compared to what this guy's doing, man. He's coming out with these lines like, okay, this year I'm into this. And he'll make like 25 pieces, shirts, jackets, denim, boots, all kinds of hats. And then you can get them online or go in a store. You can also find it in places like Self Edge and Standard and Strange, stuff like that around America that carries his line. Anyway, I wanted to bring it up because I was just in there and I was thinking this guy is fucking one. At one time, he was in the Navy or something. I think he's French. Um, and then, now he's a full-on clothing designer. He designs them, he makes them, hand paints this stuff. He comes up with the logos. Every year there's a different logo and they're works of art. And I just want to really give this guy a shout out because, oh my God, hold on, let me get it here. He's just unreal to me. It's crazy what this guy has done. Excuse me. Mr. Freedom is the Instagram, like I said. Freedom. Let's see, where is it? My fucking Mr. I follow him. I type in Mr. Freedom, and then it doesn't fucking come up. Here it is. Okay, it's Mr. Freedom Store is the Instagram. Okay. Excuse me. Got a fucking trash. Anyway, follow this on Instagram and really dig into this guy's fucking clothing, man. It's just unreal. He's a lot like me. A lot of his photos have him and his dog. And it's really, really inspiring to see what this guy has built as just his brand. It's just unreal. All right. So he's 7161 Beverly Boulevard. MrFreedom.com if you want to go in and see all this stuff. It's beautiful. God, they're having a sale right now. 11 hours left, 30% off. For you Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, get out there and buy shit you don't need. Actually, you'll be doing well if you buy something from this man because it's going to last as long as you don't gain weight. Christophe Lorion. Christophe Lorion, established in 2003. And go on there and watch this little documentary, man. It is really inspiring. They're open Monday through Saturday. So if you're visiting LA and you love handmade fashion and it's not fast fashion, it's fucking, classic American made clothing, which is really fucking hard to see. Before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to the guy who I saw was driving a $250,000 Ferrari to the Trader Joe's. And it was a model I'd never seen. It looked a lot like Speed Racer's car, and it was brand new. And it was easily 250 grand because that's what Ferraris are. Now, it could be $1 million. I could be way fucking wrong, but let's just say it's 250, which is a lot of money. And he was doing something that really I do not have the ability to do. No matter what I spend on a car, if I spend you know, $20,000 on a Prius, my white Prius. He was parking in the Trader Joe's parking lot, just like a regular fucking car in between cars. You know how you park. You got the parking lot, everybody parks right next to each other. Everybody but me. Something, some weird, serious thing embedded in me from my father. Now, we don't, we didn't really see eye to eye, and I didn't really know the man. But the short amount of time I was with him, I did notice that wherever we went, he would park in the back of the parking lot and we would walk. And I'd always be like, why are we park? There's fucking parking all over here. But no, he didn't want fucking door dings. And that is embedded in me. There's nothing worse. Now, if I fuck up my car, I fucked up. All right. And that's just something I live with. It's like patina, like, fuck. But in the amount of world of loaded with animal people, who don't give a fuck about anybody else's personal properties. It's all about them. I'm on the phone. I got groceries here. I got a dog. I got a cat. I got a backpack, and I'm getting in my car, and boom, fuck. I don't care about my car. I don't care about your car. Open the door, bam, put the stuff in, and drive out. The door ding is one of the most haunting things to me about owning something nice, a nice car, the door ding. And I live in a building with underground parking, and I parked next to a guy next to me. And for the first 6 months I moved in, I taped a note on my window saying, please be careful of your door. And I did it every fucking day just to remind him. Now, he never really said anything to me, but I know that he got the idea because the thought of my neighbor dinging my door would make me go ballistic. And it's mostly just out of respect of somebody else's property. And also, it's really, like I said, some people just don't care. I mean, I remember for years I was just, I would just clean my sneakers when I got home right away because I only had one pair of sneakers and I didn't want them to look old or trashed or fall apart. So I just cleaned them when I got home from school. And then I had like a shoe polish. I'd kind of touch them up. My Pumas, my leather Puma Clydes. And I just everything. Like if you used to listen to that podcast I did with Marin, Dark Fonzie, he called me No Scuff Dean because I was just at some point I might have to sell something to keep doing art, keep doing comedy. Okay, I bought this and now I got to sell it so I can pay rent or whatever. My point is, this guy pulled up in his Ferrari and he got out and I go, hey man, that's a sick car. And he's like, thanks, man. And then I thought, how do you park this Ferrari in this Trader Joe's parking lot, which is traditionally shit parking? Kyle Kinane had a bit about it. I had done a bit about it till I found out Kyle had one, and I dumped the bit. But uh, somebody had told me that worked at Trader Joe's that they try to find one. I called Kyle and told him about this. They try to find places that have smaller parking lots because it was the idea to make it look like it was always packed and like happening, booming, like, oh my God, that place must be great. It's just packed all the time. I don't know if that's true, but an employee reached out to me and told me that. And over the years, many comedians have talked about the shit parking at Trader Joe's, but it's just shit parking anywhere because these days there's so many cars. that they have to make the spots smaller so they can fit more cars. So you pull in and you can't even get out of your fucking car most of the time. You're like fucking getting out of your car so they can get five more cars in a line at like the movie theater, the grocery store, or wherever you're going. Back in the day, these people had giant Lincoln Continentals that were 24 foot long and wide as fuck. There was like big vans, Cadillacs, all these cars that were crazy wide and long. None of those cars would fit in my building right now. It's interesting, that we're in that era, but I was blown away. And then I was thinking he had to maybe have leased it. Most of the time, if you're leasing something, then you're like, well, I'm turning it in 3 years, whatever. That's just wear and tear. You'll get fined a little bit, but if you own it and you fucking didn't get easy money, I'm parking way the fuck out. I'm parking far. I'm looking around. I'm looking up, making sure there's no fucking trees. That's another deadly. Birds sit up in the trees. You park under the tree like I want my car nice and shady so the sun's not beaming in there and burning up the interior. Nope. Birds just shit on your car. Just fucking shitting on your roof, burning into the paint with the bird acid shit. Or you parked under a tree and it's hot and tree sap drops on your hood, burns into the paint. Now you've got fucking burnt paint from tree sap. I'm telling you, I'll never forget it ever. I was parked at Fred Siegel, the hot one back in the day that was by the Hollywood Improv. They had a restaurant there and then they had a denim shop. And it was the kind of you know, I guess early 2000s, it was really booming. Celebrities would go down there and they would set it up so paparazzi would find them and take pictures, and it was all plotted out. Lindsay Lohan is down at fucking Fred Siegel's. We caught her. Yeah, you caught her because she fucking called you. So I'll be down there at 2:30. So one day I'm eating lunch at this Fred Siegel. They had a great kind of, I don't know, it was like a French restaurant or something. This lady ran it and she was kind of the superstar of the celebrities moving around these tables. But it was really good food and it wasn't overpriced. So I went down, got some denim, and then I sat down and ate lunch. I had a 1970 Dodge Super B, mint condition B5 blue. That was the color B5 blue. I bought this car for no money. I think it was like 13 grand. And later on sold it for big money when the Mopars went through the roof. Anyway, I'm eating lunch. Here comes garbage can Paris Hilton pulling in her pink Bentley, Pepto Bismol pink. She parks next to my fucking Super B that I've parked in the back of the lot, which, by the way, there are these pieces of shit out there. No matter where you park, deep, deep, deep far in the lot, they'll go, oh, I think I'll park there for some fucking mind boggling reason. I don't know what the thought is. I don't know if they're like, well, I'll just park next to them. I have no idea why they do it. You could park, there's 100 spots. You park deep in the back of the parking lot or the top floor of a parking garage, and some fucker, you'll come out and he'll be parked right next to you, and there's no one else around. You're like, what the fuck? So here comes garbage can Paris Hilton. She pulls in and she's got her dogs at that time. She had a couple fucking Pomeranians or whatever. I'm watching her. I go, what the fuck? She's parking by my car. And then she gets out, opens her door, and just fucking bam, hits my door on the Dodge Super B. That's mint. And I run over there. I go, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, fuck you, man. Fuck yeah. fuck you, man. And the paparazzi's there, And I'm just like, you are a piece of fucking garbage. And I got in my car and I just fucking left, man. I mean, fuck you, man. You and your piece of shit, old piece of shit car. Fuck you, man. Oh, God, I never forgot it. Just the not giving a fuck about anybody else. It's really it's that kind of shit is brewed to where we are right now in America, not giving the fuck about anyone else. It's about me. It's about me, 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 me. Anyway, so hats off to the dude that was just able to park that fucking Ferrari right in Trader Joe's lot, not giving a fuck. I just walked away and I was like, oh my God, how does he do it? The freedom of not giving a fuck about door dings. I'm going to be 60 and that's never going to go away. Even if I was rich, I would be pissed if someone door dinged my new fucking car. Anyway, speaking of 60, come on out to the Bon Scott Bash. Patreoners will get the first shot at the VIP tickets February 3rd at the Avalon Theater. Bill Burr and I, comedy and a full-blown Bon Scott AC/DC tribute with me, Lur from Primus, Mike Inez, Burr, Rock and Drums, Josh Z, Billy Rowe, Buck Cherry, Jet Boy, and a bunch of secret surprise guests. That's coming up. Ticket links are going to be out this week. And I love all you guys. Thank you for tuning in every week. Have a great, great December. Candles lit.